All right. So, once again, folks, thank you for coming. I'm going to call the meeting to order now, and, remind everyone that we're going to conduct ourselves tonight the same way as we conducted ourselves at the first meeting. We are all going to be courteous, honest, and respectful to each other. And, I will tell you again, I make mistakes. Don't know about the rest of you, I can't speak for the rest of council, but I will absolutely say, and you will hear this over the next 4 years, see right up here, Liz, what happens when you come late. It's the best lead. Over the next 4 years, you will learn that I make mistakes. When I do make one, I will acknowledge it, back up, turn around, and we will proceed to go forward in the proper direction. So, those are our guide rules for this evening. Council attendance, everybody's present for the minutes. Got that? Boy, we ever just moving right along. So, with regards to declaration of conflict of interest, we have received our agenda previous to seeing it tonight, and if any council, including myself, know of anything that we are going to be in a conflict of interest for, you can declare it now, or if you start having a discussion and all of a sudden you say, maybe that applies to me, you would recuse yourself and step out for that portion that you would be in conflict for. So, is anyone declaring a conflict of interest on anything on the agenda that you currently see? So, if you look on our website, we have some guidelines for presentations. We ask that you ask a certain period of time before our meeting if you'd like to do a presentation. We ask that you speak for no more than 10 minutes, and before you speak, we would like you to produce just a quick written note or give us an idea of what it is that you want to speak on. So if we need to do some research on our own, we can do that and be better prepared. Sounds like we might have to find another way. Two. Well, what happens when you come late? You get to stand up. Does anybody know where we can find these good ladies to chair? Well, I do. Should you choose to need a chair, you can get one next door. Mr. Douglas is a true gentleman, so he's gone to get you one, Judy. Okay, well, Councillor Donovan is retrieving some chairs. Patricia Underhill, you've asked to address council tonight.
Yes.
And
can I say here, please? My mouth is big enough, you'll all hear me, trust me.
Well, we'd like you to use the podium, but do you really feel uncomfortable doing that?
I sure do.
Okay. Maybe at least know your breath enough, so. Okay.
It's gonna be a quick question anyway.
Okay.
We have recently moved. We are now at 165 Main Street. I'm hoping that
Who's we?
Community Garden, sorry.
Thank you.
Community Garden at 165 Main Street. We still have a lot of our things back here that we have to move. We would like permission to leave them there until the fall because we have a home memorial garden to replant, as well as some other things that need to be moved, our shed and a few other things. So we would like permission until the fall to get the rest of our things out of there, please.
And that's it. That's it. So, council, you've heard Patricia's request. Anyone have a comment that you'd like to discuss this? Marilyn, your hand up?
I certainly would support that. I think they've done great work here, and so your plan is to move the memorial garden and everything down at a certain time, or how's that going to work?
Well, it's just, I work a full-time job, plus a part-time job, and we have a student that's down there right now. So we have, our volunteers are few and far between. We have more this year, but still, everybody works, everybody has things priorities. So the memorial garden is gonna be a big one for us to move, because I think we have 20 plus bushes, flowers, things like that have to be moved out there. as well as the apple trees. And, I think there's a few other things, plus our shed is there. And, we have a big box full of curbs that we have to actually get moved down, dug up and moved down as well. So it's gonna take some time.
Question, Marilyn?
Would you, are you considering looking after the memorial garden, because it's quite lovely?
It is,
And so to keep it up during the summer?
No, because
Okay.
we're gonna slowly start
Okay, I see
moving
what
it.
you're
We
saying.
were just waiting for the
Okay.
property to be ready to start cleaning things up. And, we aren't moving them without asking permission of family members first to move them, because a lot of family members have come out and planted them themselves out there. I apologize for that. But yes, so we're making sure that it's okay with family members, that if they wanna come up and take them up themselves and transplant them or whatever. But a lot of them are okay with us moving them, but there's a few others that we still haven't spoken with yet,
Thank you.
that we need to reach out to.
Anyone else, council? Justin?
Only question would be, could we put an actual date on it, like October 1st or something? As opposed to-
November first?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, yeah, the fall, yeah,
Yeah.
October, yeah, because we close up the garden in October, middle of October, so it would be around then.
So by November first, you.
Oh, good Lord, yes, I should hope so.
Any further questions, council? Matt?
Is there anything going on that ground that would prevent that extension from being able to happen?
Tina? Jennifer?
Yeah, so barring that, I see no issue with it.
More seats next door, you just have to carry it in here. Okay, well, if somebody would make a motion regarding this, Marilyn?
I motion for the community garden be able to have their, remaining items stay there until the fall, as they gradually move them down to the new location.
Question, Ron?
No, I second.
Okay, moved by Marilyn and seconded by Rodney. Any further discussion?
I just have a point, you're digging up a tree, you wouldn't wanna dig it up in the summer anyways, you're gonna lose it.
No, I know,
The fall
so we
later.
are waiting till a little
Later
bit
in the-
later in the year, yeah, to be able to move something.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, thank you, Patricia. Yep. So, the next group, that wanted to speak to us, we gave them a speaking time of 7:00, so we're going to bounce down the agenda a little bit, and when they get here, then they can speak. So, under new business, Character Matters. Character Matters is a, folklore, drama presentation that's put on the actual group. It's called Character Matters. They put it on last year at the park down here, I believe on a weekly basis. And they, this is just was a briefing to me, because I do not know about it. But, according to what I've been told, it happened on a weekly basis. And, so people would come, whether it was from Blackville or Northtown or wherever. They paid an admission fee, to watch the production. And, council paid them $12,000, I believe, Tina. There was a discrepancy about that at the last meeting. I think, they were paid $12,000, but it may have been reported last meeting that it was $1,200.
Yes, that's right, it was 12,000, we got a grant for 8,000, it ended up costing 4,000, so we didn't tell them.
Okay. So, those folks have asked us, just a second, I'm gonna turn my phone off, and I've asked us all to do the same thing. I hear mine beeping in my pocket. They have asked us to, be able to, do the performances again this year. And, there's been a lot of discussion back and forth among council as to how that should proceed. I can discuss it, or would a counselor like to talk about it, that maybe, part of the tourism committee or, the park committee, that type of thing? I can certainly talk to it, I just don't want to be the only voice here.
I can talk to, first, Debbie, if you like, because of, when that proposal came out, they had a price of $57.50, I believe that was with the taxes, for us to, incur that price, and through our email conversation or email thread, we thought, I suggested that we would support them in the area of having workers look after the door, or if we have to, taking the money, and that they would, incur any expenses, and they would also receive all of the, proceeds from the production for the entire summer.
So they would get the ticket tape.
Yes.
And that's what I recall from our email thread as well. Any other counselors like to clarify anything that you understood or misunderstood? Marilyn?
I agree with Rodney, it made sense, I think there were a few different options thrown out, such as we could give them, was it 5,600 they were asking for this year? 57, we could give them that, and then we could recoup the money in each week, until we had our money back, and then they would keep the rest. Or, I think, I like Rodney's idea that, they could just, right from the start, keep the ticket sales. And then we wouldn't be putting any more money in. However, I do see correspondence from Character Matters that are in their package that I just finished reading.
I didn't get all the way through it, but.
So it seems like they were operating under the understanding that they were, in a meeting that they had with Brenda before this came was formed, obviously.
That's what this is.
Yeah, that there was an agreement made to, go with kind of first option that we were presented with, which was giving them money upfront. I think their reasoning behind it was that there was expenses to be incurred with advertising and marketing, that they wouldn't be able to put up if they were only recouping the money coming from admissions. That's kind of the gist that I got from this, the correspondence that we got. It seems like they're asking for us to honor the agreement that they would have had with the previous supervisor, which is to give that money up front, and then we recoup the ticket sales, commissions.
I was just reading on that first page, may I speak?
Certainly.
You look at the second last paragraph, on February 10th, Mrs. Knight advised the proposed budget was acceptable and extended her best wishes for the coming season. And then he says, based on that confirmation, Character Matters proceeded in good faith with preparations for the 2026 tour. To me, that doesn't sound like they're committed. Oh, sorry, that we committed, or that Brenda committed on the council's behalf. Or am I reading that wrong?
No, I think she did.
Yes,
She
saying that
committed.
the proposed budget was acceptable.
Was acceptable, not accepted.
He,
I
on
think
the
well,
next
that's
page, on the next page, at the second paragraph, where he says the expenses have already been incurred. Commitments have been made and preparations are underway based on the understanding that the municipal support had been confirmed several months ago.
Do we have anything in writing regarding this meeting and what transpired during it? Who was at the meeting?
Brenda and I met with Sean, and he discussed his plans for the upcoming year, and, she did support it. And it was a success last year, and it does bring tourism into the area, so she did support it.
Is it in writing?
There's probably notes from it.
No, is it in writing? Like,
Sure.
is there a
No,
signed
No,
contract?
no contract. I would have written notes from the meeting, but not a written contract.
I mean, based on the word.
Marilyn.
Sorry.
Based on that, I believe in good faith, it was done in good faith, and I would support us supporting their proposed budget, providing them with the money, and recouping the money as agreed. I would suggest though, going forward, and even as this, season is kicking off, that we sit down with them and have it on paper with the signature from, the clerk and the character matters, which is Sean McCarthy. Just my thoughts. Matt?
I think, based on the wording of what they're saying here, that the proposed budget was acceptable. I think that would probably give, if I was in that meeting on the end of the person asking for the money, I think that would be a reasonable conclusion for me to make, to say that this was something that was approved. Now, there probably should have been something documented in writing legally, but again, I think acting in good faith, this isn't something that's a detriment to the community, obviously. It was well attended, 350 people last year. I would think that there's probably projected growth for that this year based on attendance from last year. If you do the numbers, 350 people and $15 a piece, which is the admission is $52.50. So I don't see this as being a money losing venture. I think at very least we would break even on whatever commitment they were giving them, whatever investment they were giving them.
Or come close. What I don't like, I don't like this council being asked to honor something we didn't know about. It's not in writing. So for clarification purposes, if we give them the $5,850, who gets the admission fee?
That comes back
It
to
comes
us.
back to you.
Okay. And that is in Characters Matters proposal?
Yep.
No, well, it was one of ours, wasn't it?
That was one of our proposals.
No, he told me that today.
Oh, he told you that today. We need these things in writing.
Yeah.
It is in the email that he sent me.
You know, I don't want to, or I am going to play the devil's advocate here. Last year was a great summer weather-wise, and no rain on any Saturday night. This was certainly a weather-dependent
You bet.
event for sure. And 350 people to 52.50, we're down $500 just on the, if we have the equal number of people as we did last year. Or are they having more nights too? I'm not sure. That could be it.
Councillor Underhill?
I would like to ask the clerk if there's opportunity to apply for a similar type of grant, or
Yeah.
that we did last year. I mean, we haven't applied yet, but we could.
Okay.
Perhaps another,
What,
perhaps, yeah.
what type of grant would this be, and do we know if the deadlines have not been gone past?
So there's a community funding grant with RDC, that is open definitely.
Is somebody writing this down? Okay. Well, just, so you take the minutes, do you? Just make sure that what you just told us is in the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've gathered this around, for a bit here, council. Would somebody like to make a motion regarding what you would like to happen with this matter?
I move that we respect what he had agreed to with Brenda.
I'll second it, just so we can have a little more conversation, 'cause
So, moved by Paula. Did you get her motion, Tina?
So the motion that I have written, I mean, you can reword it, be it resolved that council approve funding in the amount of $57.50 to Character Matters Mayor Machine for the 2026 year and Director Governor of Cooper.
Do we leave it open-ended like that, or do we also make in the motion that the gate admission fees is collected and goes to the municipality?
I think that should be expressed.
I think it should be expressed as well. And Paula, are you all agreeable with that being part of your motion?
Sure. I just don't want them to have put all this money into it and not pull the plug either, so. Yeah. They're into it for money for sure, for print and radio and tickets and stuff.
So, before we vote, this is an opportunity for further discussion. It's been moved by Paula, seconded by Matt. Matt?
Just one more, I guess, procedural thing. It's important to realize that that meeting that was held with Brenda, she was acting in an official capacity at that point. She was the supervisor of the municipality then because of a dissolved council. So I believe she would be within her right to approve that. And I don't think we're stepping out of line by, continuing that on. I think she was acting in her capacity, official capacity. She made a ruling, made a judgment about, supporting that initiative. I think that it would almost be out of order for us not to go through with that.
Rodney?
What about the amount? $5,000, would she have the, approval capability to do that? Is there a threshold? I know that some things you just,
Tina may be able to answer that.
No, it's not. I mean, there is a threshold, but it's over $100,000.
wow.
Wow.
That's a lot of power she had here for.
No, I
for-
mean, before you have to put it out for tender or for full
No,
or anything.
to pass. If she could pass that there.
Yeah.
She could pass if it was $50,000, I'm just using hypothetical numbers. She could do that.
If it was in the budget, already budgeted amount, she can pass.
Oh, well, this was already in the budget?
Under the, tourism, yes. We put $30,000 in, I believe it is in the tourism this year, for tourism for Blackpool.
That's information we should have maybe before we have this discussion.
Councillor Donovan?
Do they make any more, like, different money off of the flag, like canteens, some stuff?
Not to my knowledge. Anyone who was there last year have any knowledge of that?
I was there last year, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was there last year, and it was actually great production.
Yeah.
But, no, it was just pay, wait, and then take you on shore. No, same as anything else.
Councillor Underhill?
I think it's important to consider we will have to extend the hours of our, students working at the tourism building to be able to gather up those funds. So just as long as we're all aware of that. As well as I would also suggest that a contract be drawn up where it's signed between us and, Characters Matter, so it's very clear exactly what we're doing. We're giving them the money, we're taking the proceeds.
Councillor Buggy?
Marilyn, just to answer that question, or to add to it, I think the, summer student that we're hiring for that could be a part of their hours.
Yes.
Maybe they don't work Friday afternoon, and they work Saturday evening or whatever.
Yes.
Reschedule the
You
hours.
wouldn't have to, extend the
Yeah.
hours, just outside the scope of a Monday to Friday job.
So, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Moving forward, let's make sure that nothing happens unless we have a contract, and then we won't be sitting here having these discussions. Matt?
I think it's important to note too, if you do read the second last paragraph, I don't think that Character Matters is necessarily against what we proposed, in terms of them keeping the admission and all that, because they're saying, we could revise operational arrangements for future seasons. I think it was just that they proceeded this year under the understanding and spent money under the understanding was that they already had an agreement in place. So if we do take a $500 loss this year, then I think it's a $500 lesson learned. We go back to them next year and say, this is the risk we took on, and this is a more equitable arrangement.
So, I believe that we are, rehashing some of the same stuff over here at this point in time. Councillor Holohan, do you have something new you want to add?
I was curious if we actually promoted it at all ourselves, or was it all just them doing the promotion? We did it on our website.
We share it on our website.
So it was just a share.
So we've heard the discussion, we have a motion on the floor to pay, $5,850 to Characters Matters. They,
I think it's 57.
$57.50.
$57.50. Thank you for correcting that, we just saved $100. $57.50, and that, any, admission charges will come to the municipality. We have a mover by Paula, a seconded by
I did.
Matthew. All those in favor? Aye. I guess, aye. So, unanimous. And the contract will be drawn up, and somebody's going to come up here and sign it.
Yeah, we have to get legal to draw a contract.
With anything that's minor, I question whether or not we need legal to draw up a contract. How much is that going to cost us?
Do we need a lawyer's stamp on this contract?
Gonna be just paper agreement between us and them.
I don't see why it couldn't be.
I don't see why it can't be either. We date it, we write the terms of the agreement, the municipality signs it, the head of Characters Matters, which is Sean McCarthy, signs it, and it's filed away somewhere in the office, and we move on.
I'm also quite sure that they're not gonna not honor their end of the contract.
They want to make-
Yeah, we're passing.
Okay, so we're good with that? All right, motion passed. The next item of business, it's, kind of like part B of our meeting that happened on June 2nd. On June the 2nd, we added to our committees. We now have a Parks and Recreation Committee, a tourism, we have a tourism committee. We officially have a Public Safety, EMO, and Fire Services, Committee, Health and Safety, Human Resources, Finance and Infrastructure, and the Community Advisory Committee. And, we will add those as we see fit. At our last meeting, we also discussed that, we were opening it up to members in our community who might have expertise, who would like to serve on one of these committees under the chair that, is one of the counselors or myself. And, we didn't pass that. We didn't make that motion. We've got it all worded, it's ready to go out on the website, but, we need to finish the business, and so we need a motion to that effect.
Is there a written one already? We don't have to.
I have a written motion.
Yeah.
A written motion, or you're looking for,
I was looking for what we're doing right now, what the wording is.
So be it resolved, the council direct administration to advertise and invite expressions of interest from residents of the Miramichi River Valley who are interested in serving as a volunteer member on community appointed committees, and that interested residents be requested to submit their name, contact information, indicate the committee on which they would be interested in serving, and a brief statement outlining their interest in serving on the committee. And further, that all expressions of interest received be presented to council for consideration when making committee appointments.
okay, so, did you people back here there hear that? Everybody was able to hear it? Yeah, okay. Good, because I was having trouble up here. She was projecting her voice in that direction. So since now I'm a little slow, Tina, I'm gonna get you to read it one more time, because I'm not sure I got it all.
It's a lot.
Be it resolved that council direct administration to advertise and invite expressions of interest from residents of the Miramichi River Valley who are interested in serving as a volunteer member on community appointed committees. And that interested residents be requested to submit their name, contact information, indicate the committee on which they are interested in serving, and a brief statement outlining their interest in serving on the committee. And further, that all expressions of interest be received, be presented to council for consideration when making committee appointments.
Okay. Questions?
Is there an age limit on the committees? members?
I would think that they need to be of a certain age.
No, just.
Yeah, good point, Councillor Donovan.
Maybe voting age?
Yeah, voting age, I mean, the reason we are doing this is because it provides us a wealth of opportunity with individuals in our community, who are educated, who may want to help, and so on. But to your point, yeah, it should be somebody that can have something to offer. Because we're not looking for somebody to rake the field, or pick rocks, or things like that. Marilyn?
Could we have a motion and seconder, and then we could have a discussion or a question on the item?
Of course we could.
Thank you.
I'll move,
We need one,
I'll move the motion as written.
and I'll second.
Discussion. So, Paula?
So, in it, you said qualifications? Is that what the word you used?
I can read it again, if you want.
No, just,
It's
there
long.
was, yeah, it was just, there was something like,
So submit their names, their contact information, which committee they would be interested in serving, and a brief statement outlining their interest in serving on the committee.
right, so it's just as long as they have an interest.
Like, they need to have qualifications. You're not gonna put somebody on the finance committee that's 18 years old and doesn't have a bank account yet.
No, but I was thinking, like, I have community. Well, they live here, so they have an interest, right? That's what I was getting at, like, I had absolutely zero work in this before. I mean, I live in a community and I've been part of the municipality, but as far as being somebody who would know, I mean, I know what the communities, some of the communities are looking for because I've had people reach out to me. So I just wanted to know.
So your committee is vastly different than most of them.
Right.
And so the criteria for your committee might be vastly different. But I personally, and the rest of you can agree or disagree, I would like to see a resume. I would like to know what their education is. I would like to know if they have experience in the field. So, it's open on the floor. Marilyn?
Something I think will be really important that we do, obviously, we need to list the committee. I assume that doesn't need to be part of the motion, obviously.
No.
So if I was reading that, I'd want to know what the commitment would be from a community member. What is my commitment? Is it 3 meetings a year, is it 6 meetings a year, based on the committee? But maybe that's something we can look at going forward. A terms of reference for each committee probably would be really helpful. That we could actually post as well out on the site, that might help people think about what committee they'd like to join. Yeah, and understanding that the terms of reference would be in draft until the committee was formed, and then the committee itself would finalize the terms of reference. But we would each of us would put together terms of reference for the committee.
So maybe just in the wording, I know we'd have to change the motion. If it was interest and qualifications, would that be put in there? Interest and qualifications, and then we, as a committee, would have a set of or criteria we want the person to have to be on the committee. Would that be, like, that wouldn't have to be in the motion, but that's, I think, the interest and qualifications in the motion. Interest is there, qualifications.
Matt?
I agree. The only thing I would say, and further to your point, the qualifications are gonna be way different depending on the committee. You and I are on tourism and Tyson and I on rec. I don't know, I can't speak for Tyson, but as far as recreation, I'm not gonna be asked to turn down a volunteer that doesn't have any qualifications for recreation, if they're willing, because they could be the one picking rocks or
Mowing the field.
mowing, yeah, exactly. So I don't know if adding the qualifications to the motion is necessary. I think,
Because depending on your committee, you can decide what your qualifications are.
my only fear would be if I was sitting with somebody that had no experience in some sort of organized recreation, I might look at that and say, well, I'm not qualified for that. That could be a volunteer that you're losing.
Marilyn?
The only other item for consideration as well is that a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old could apply for the finance committee, but we're given the final say of who will be on that committee. So even if they put their name in, it doesn't mean we'll accept it, right? So we have to consider that as well. And we may want to, but in my terms of reference, I've identified subject matter experts. So even if you use terms like that in your terms of reference.
And one short word.
Last one, unless there's something new that you're going to speak to.
What about interest and or qualification?
Right.
Sure. You can, it doesn't, you don't have to put your qualifications in, interest and or qualifications.
Fair enough.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? So in addition to that, committee chairs, I'm going to tax you all to do a draft of your terms of reference and, have it in some type of form that you can make a presentation to council and people who come, on our July 7th meeting. So, school teacher coming back, I'm giving you all homework.
End here.
I'll be here.
Our year's just beginning.
If I may, the Union of Municipalities in New Brunswick, if you go on their website, they have most of these committees already formed, but at a provincial perspective, if you give them a call, they'll share gladly their terms of reference that you could use as a straw dog to get started with.
So things like that, if any of you have any knowledge that's going to help, your fellow councilors, we do have emails, so please send us all of the helpful hints that you can, if you have some. That was the one that Marilyn had.
Maryland, Florida.
Now, now's the time. Boy, we're just cruising here. Mr. Copley, do you have, more members of your community coming?
Right, I know they were,
Coming for stuff?
they were advised at 7, yeah.
So we've just been passing business left, right, and center here tonight, and we're way ahead. So, do you know approximately how many more you might be expecting? And if anybody else knows,
Probably
the answer
100 or
is
more.
You're probably gonna see 100 residents here.
100 residents, whoa, we better get some more chairs.
Can we open that up?
Okay, well, let's do that then, thank you for the heads up, we've got a few minutes, we gotta pass before we have the presentation anyways, and, anybody that knows anything about how that door slides open, have at it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to reconvene. We do have a group that asked to speak to us tonight. They are, community leaders among the community in which they live. They weren't here for my opening remarks, so I'm going to make my opening remarks again. We are a very orderly group. We conduct ourselves with courtesy, honesty, and respect, and it goes both ways. So when they have the floor, we're not asking questions, that type of thing. And I've asked them to be organized and present themselves in an orderly manner, of which if they don't, we'll have to address that. So we've got Ms. Ann Creamer. Ann, you take it away.
Okay, I'm Ann Creamer, and I'm retired, and I've been a resident So the first thing that I would like to do is I'd like to introduce a group of five. That's a group of 5 people that got involved in this from the very beginning. And just stand up and that way they know that who we're looking at. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Dr. Teresa McKenzie, Carl Peterson, Kristen Nash. Very cool. You guys, yeah. The next thing that I would like to do, we've been asked, by people in our community, and these are people that are in close proximity to the proposed facility, and they have asked me to deliver letters, their concerns that they'd like to have them heard, and so I would like to do that, and I'll put them right on through that. And there's a copy of it for everyone. The next thing that I would like to do is go through the process that I went through, and I'll do it fast. October 13th, 2025, Harvest House Mary, she announced the purchase of the property at 507 Route 108 Millerton, that is a new drug recovery healing center.
So, Ann, we can't hear you.
Okay. Louder?
Louder.
On October 13th, 2025, Harvest House Mary, she announced the purchase of the property at 507 Route 108 Millerton, New Brunswick, to establish a new drug recovery and healing center. On October 16th, you're going to get copies of all this.
Yes.
October 16th, 2025, I was asked to contact Michelle Conway with Harvest House Mary Shea, and there's a document in here that outlines arranging the meeting, who was at the meeting, and the question and answers that were brought up at that meeting. You have a copy of that. I spoke to a Liberal MLA, to invite him to our community meeting. He could not come, and, that's it. So, October the 20th, Harvest House Mary Shea posted Whispering Hope Healing Center, created and run by Harvest House Mary Shea. Now, Harvest House Mary Shea is on the Government of Canada charity list. It has not been updated since 2023, and in that sheet is the list of their board of directors, but their term expired December 31st, 2025, so I don't know who it is. There's a copy of that in there for you. The community started door to door to deliver notice of the meeting, question and answer documents, and they also had a petition sheet for people who could not make the meeting and wanted to sign a petition. On November 6, 2025, the Council of Mary Shea River Valley was dissolved. November 9th, 2025, the meeting at Millerton School was packed, standing room only. We had Dr. Teresa McKenzie, Gary Copeland, and myself provide further information. And people expressed their concerns and asked their questions, and they were very respectful. I believe that people left with more information and with the realization that more work needs to be done. At the meeting, I asked our MLA, Kevin Russell, could he try to get a meeting with the Minister of Local Government? He said he'd try. On May 2026, MLA Kevin Russell told me the Minister of Local Government would not meet with us. On November 17th, 2025, we met with the Planning Commission. At the meeting, he pointed out that there would be a change in the purpose for which the land, building, and structure is used. It would be changed from residential to institutional. This would require a special permit. However, we had a problem. We had no municipal council. They asked us to keep them informed. On December 1st, 2025, we met with the appointed supervisor of Mary Shea River Valley. She told us she could not help us. And then we waited. What do we wait for? We waited for our council. So, the document there is a document attachment that is under Community Planning Act C-19, and this is with your document. And you'll see, underneath, definition of development, it states where that we need a special permit when you change the use of the property. So, that is that. Now, the next thing that I want to do is present some concerns that basically come out of the meeting that some of the reasons why the community does not approve the proposed Harbor South Surrender Sheet. We do not have 24/7 policing in our community. There are times when no officers are on duty. Our community has limited police presence and very little patrol. We believe there will be more drugs coming into the community. Drug dealers may target our community to sell drugs. This would be a terrible risk to our children. We have a lot of lax services. Longer response times for emergency calls, police, ambulance, and fire protection. Poor to none cell service. Most people don't have landlines, and that is an issue in our community, and I'll emphasize that. No public transportation, no medical facilities, no doctors, no government service centers, no banks, no pharmacies, only one retail store 2 miles away, the convenience store, no recreation facilities. The potential loss of value in people's homes, especially those in close proximity to this proposed facility. There will be reluctant buyers and the value may drop. Decrease potential buyers in the immediate area and lengthen the time to sell your home. The properties in our community are private properties. The only public spaces in the community are the highway and the school. We have concerns property boundaries will not be respected, and who will deal with that? And with that, I'll pass the floor to Gary Coker. Gary? No.
I feel like I'm on my first date here.
Don't be shy, speak up.
Okay. Well, Honorable Mayor, Council, we, taken up this battle, I guess. And, anyway, the reason I'm here is, I grew up in Milton. And we've seen it decline. And we're trying to keep it from, declining further. Now, my experience is that, I have 37 years of private, and I worked in, treatment addiction for 18 years. Now, if I felt it was going to be a positive thing for our community, I think we're going to have it. You know, congratulations, but I don't feel it. I feel we're gonna open up a whole can of worms. And what I've heard of it so far, what we found out so far, there's no structure to it. They have a plan where they're gonna put 8 adults into an old 4-bedroom home. 1 bathroom, 1 TV, possibly. They don't throw it out the window. No, it's the middle of a fight. I mean, I worked at the treatment center. We had security, we had cameras outside, cameras inside, and, we couldn't get drugs out. There was no way possible that we could get drugs out. We would have room searches. We found out somebody was, you're dealing with cons, okay? I don't care if it's just about a prison or jail or what. They've conned their families, they've conned their friends, they've conned themselves for years. Now, they're becoming whoever they can to get them. But when they're in there, it doesn't mean they're gonna go in there with the idea, oh, yeah, we're gonna be great and road. You don't know what it's gonna be. They haven't really told us what it's gonna be. But I know you get 8 men adult in, all different addictions, in a 4-bedroom middle. You're just asking for trouble. There's no policing, no other services around, except the ground where it sits. They have enough area to go out and walk around the house, but everybody owns property on both sides of it and behind. The main road is going up and down the front of it. You know, what do they have to do? And I'm talking about the people that are gonna be in there too, I'm not just talking about the businesses around it. You're gonna have the people in there. Somebody starts, in the craving, and they start, flip out. Who's gonna help the other people in there? By the time they all the Airbnb is gone, a lot of damage can happen. And, we don't want that. You know? I don't want to see anybody get hurt or killed. And that possibility is there. As far as I'm concerned. I mean, I dealt with them for 18 years. And, for time, we had to do really go forward to get people out of the people. Sometimes I had to hold them till the police got there. And I'm talking in the city, where we have 24-hour police. Who's gonna do that in Milton? We heard one person is going to work there, but 5 months to write. Good start. But, you know, when you're in there with eight people with the different addictions, you know, and one guy comes up to you and says, you know, I'm craving, I need something, if I don't get something, I'm gonna crack up. And it's supposed to be a safe program, they said, well, you go in your room and you pray. Goes in his room and comes out later, and he has the knife out of the kitchen. Guy told me to give me all your money and barricade. You know. Sorry about it. Just choke. I don't know. I can't tell you much more. Except, we had a meeting not long ago with the, Miller School, trying to keep it open. We got 80 students. Been on the block there for 20 years. Nothing below 100, they're gonna cut it out. But we've been 75, 80. Now, what kind of a draw card for young families to come in? Our community, that's gonna be. We've already had one family, but they were supposed to fail. So yeah, it's all anymore. She went to it. When word that somebody said bottle on there, not far from it, they said if they had known that place was going in, they wouldn't have bought that out. So when word gets around, the rest of the community, the rest of the area, and you have young families that we want to come into the community, that can bring their kids and send them to Millard to school, they're gonna be dropped. No. They're gonna think twice about it. Anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
I'm going to try to talk very loudly, but I have a very soft voice. If you can't hear me, let me know, and I'll try to help you learn. So my name is Dr. Teresa McKenzie. I'm a retired psychologist. I lived in this area my whole life, Derby Junction, and I have had practice since about 2000. Retired a couple years ago. When I first started practicing, I did work with young offenders with addiction on programs to try to keep them out of jail. And I can't say that I enjoyed my success because there has to be a lot of elements in place. They have to be well run and they have to be done by a trained staff. And one person can never do it really well with that. First of all, I'd like to say that our community is generous, helpful, giving. That's been my experience. I owe a lot to my community. And I just want to make it clear that nobody is against help for people with addiction. Probably most of us have had people in our lives with addiction, and we want to see them have help. And I had that personal experience myself. but the help has to be done right, it has to be done extensively, and so on. And our community are realistic, and the realism makes us afraid. We're afraid of what's going to happen when we have this harvest house here. So there was a lot of talk about all these reasons why we shouldn't have them. And of course, I spent a lot of years in school, so what do? I go to the books. And I look at the literature, I go to the internet, I look at the literature to see, well, what is needed for a successful type of facility. So they presented it not as a treatment facility, but rather as a sober living facility. So I looked up some of the things, and when I'm talking about literature, I'm talking about programs that have been tried and tested in a scientific manner, so that we know what works and what doesn't work, so that if there ever is such a thing as a successful program offered here, we'll have some idea what it is. So, first of all, an appropriate model has to be evidence-based. We have to have people come in and give us a business plan, tell us what the mission is, what the goals are, what's the target population, what are they going to do to show that it's going to be safe and it's going to be effective. So a list of that, I'll try to keep as short as I can, is appropriate staffing model. So the staff has to be trained. They have to be consistently present, and they have to be able to police behaviors. Because realistically, you're going to have people have disagreements. I also worked in the prison for a while, and I worked with relapse prevention and addiction there as well. So they have to be trained and basically understand addictions and how to cope with the problems that come with it. So training and qualifications, people have to be trained in recovery principles, crisis response, conflict resolution, and ethical conduct. Now, I did not meet personally with the people who purported to be the committee representing Harvest House, but Aaron, and they do not provide information or evidence relevant to staff training. So you need people who can do daily living skills at the very minimal, or cognitive living skills, to residents. They don't appear to have that training. As Gary said, one person was confined with sobriety, and I guess that was the qualification, as far as I know. But if they don't have the training, it's just the way to be taught the highly specialized skills of crisis response, conflict resolution, and so on. Another thing we need to have is structured operation. People with addiction, because of the nature of the toxicity of what happens in the brain, lack personal boundaries. And to enable them to develop that, it's necessary to establish reliable routines. You have to have test meetings. You have to ensure awareness of rules. And you have to impose social elements so that they have a motivation, a social motivation to stay sober. You have to have documentation systems for accountability purposes, and you have to document what behavioral methods you're using and so on. That's not even treatment. That's just for sober living. So we don't have any evidence of staff being trained in any of that, and there's issues like documentation. According to law called Personal Health and Information Privacy Act, you have to keep records, medical records, and they have to be kept secure. I can't imagine where the stage would be to do that. I can't imagine the training that would be there that would be required to actually do that. And I think the big thing on most people's minds is safety and compliance. So safety protocols have to be developed, they have to be enforced, and there needs to be regulations to protect both residents and people in the community. It's not clear, to me at least, what Harvest House offers as an authority to meet those needs for safety or how safety issues will be dealt with. So an internet search reveals there appears to be more regulations, and this is true, I'm not saying to suggest, there's more regulations governing running a dog kennel than a sober living facility. You want to watch, you can go and tell us yourself, that's true. So, well, that's going to be something for you guys, I guess, to address going forward, because we'll certainly need some safety And it's not this community, that's province law. Resident engagement, so people, as Gary mentioned, they can't be idle, they have to have things to do. They have to be moving towards the goal, they have to be being taught and engaged, and they need, some kind of access to therapy for that. So there have to be productive activities, and they need to, feel support from the community and part of the community. So this committee was never consulted, and we are, from all accounts, it looks like everybody mostly is solidly against the facility being injected into the community. And the literature does show that that's a prerequisite to being, to having any kind of success. So you can imagine, if you're in that facility and you feel like a pariah because you know you're not wanted there, how is that going to help with your mental health and help you achieve, survive or maintain? Population in successful, sober living, facilities are homogeneous, meaning that, mostly the same age group, same socioeconomic background, same drug addiction, whatever. And they should be transitioning out of a residential program, not coming into detox. But that's not what we're having here. They can be suffering from any type of addiction. It's just basically kind of open to everybody for as long as they want. One of the things that I had a question about, and I was told that there would be no sex offenders. So I don't know, and I thought, how do they know? Like, what do we have for sex offender registry? You can say we're not going to have sex offenders, but as soon as I come in and say, I need help, and I need it now, I need it bad, and he gives you a name and whatever, how do you check? It might be a false name, or it might be a real name, but if you go online and you try to go to the sex offender registry, you don't have access to that information. The police do, but you don't, and I don't. So I'm not quite sure how you get it, or how the person who's running the facility would get that information to ensure that there are not sex offenders living next door to little kids. It's pretty mind-boggling. So as far as treatment and accessibility, they're not, as far as I know, according to our treatment, but you still have to have proximity to hospitals, mental health facilities, doctor's offices, jails, groceries, recreation, gym, whatever, and you have to have transportation. The location is remote. Travis Tech is not ensured that there will be a van or a driver available at all hours, even to meet emergency requirements, such as an overdose. How do you get people to the 12-step program or the methadone program if you don't have that? We don't know of any established partnerships with local health care providers or community organizations. And something that my daughter pointed out to me when we were going to dinner down in Chatham, she said, look, if there's a sign that says Harvest Miramichi, recovery is possible, connecting people or compassion with people in need to make a difference. So she said, well, they must be providing treatment. And I said, no, I don't think that's what they're purporting to be about. They are saying that they are going to be a sober living facility. And she said, well, that really implies treatment, and she's a lawyer, so she really has some ideas about that. So even though they're not saying that they're going to provide treatment, if that comes up, I'm just going to give you a little old tiny overview of successful treatment. Some of the elements, not all of them. You would have to have a fellow first of all, detoxified. Then you would have medical testing, and you would go over that with the person so they know what you're doing to their body, including motivation and that type of education. You might use regular therapy to build them up. Psychoeducation about a lot of things, like stages for recovery, helping with goal setting, relapse prevention, and of course, I've never met an addict who did not have an anger management problem. So you need exertion training, anger management. Most, if not all, have suffered trauma, so you have to have treatment for trauma, cognitive therapy for depression, teaching on how to repair relationships and maintain relationships. And then when it comes to education for employment or getting the right for a job, or if they have a drug testing, and behavioral incentives. So those are some of the things that we might be looking at, if it comes to a question about treatment. So I hate to read to people, but I have to read this because, I don't want to lose people. So, addiction is a relapsing condition, and addicts can be expected to repeat the cycle many times. So one of the models for cycles that I work with when I work with people with addiction, there is a 6-step cycle. It's pre-contemplation, I'm not even thinking about it, really, contemplation, and then they move into a planning stage of how they'll accomplish it. The action stage is when they are doing things that they need to do, like 12 steps or whatever. And then there's relapse, and they start the cycle over. The 6th stage is when they're kind of finding right out of that, and they become a recovering addict, and they're staying sober. That cycle takes about 2 years. It is repeated on average for an alcoholic, and I don't know what the other goes, 6 times. That's 12 years. So expect that individuals are going to enter Harvard Militant with its dearth of resources, it hasn't got the resources, and come in clean and sober after one day is just hopelessly naive. That is not going to happen. You can't realistically expect that to happen. So whatever problems you have, they're not going to go away overnight. So sober living homes are normally for individuals transitioning out of residential treatment who are in an advanced stage of recovery. Harvest House makes no such stipulation for residents of the proposed facility in Norton. And we would have to ask, is there any successful model that Harvest House can point to that embodies the program with a specific goal and means to measure success where residents are accepted with 1, no limits on length of stay, 2, no specified population, 3, where residents are isolated in a highly resistant community, 4, where the sponsoring group has undeveloped or no business plan, and 5, no known stated rules, or if there are house rules, no means of ensuring compliance, and 6, no strategic partnership. Any successful program has that in place. The next important thing is what will, and I'm almost done, what will the inevitable failure about Harvest House mean to the community? So failure in such facility breeds criminal behavior, an influx of drug dealers, overdose episodes, infringement on neighboring property, noise pollution from altercations within the house or sirens from attending police and ambulances. And when we started the youth house down in Nardine, Colleen Wade told me she saw the house because the police were there every night, and she was principal of school. She couldn't teach because she was waking up every night with fire. I mean, who wants that? Such a situation leaves undue risk to the neighbors in the immediate vicinity and community at large. In addition to the obvious risk of exposure to toxic drugs and substances, children being especially vulnerable, citizens will suffer stress, loss of sleep leading to poor school and job performance, loss of on-the-job concentration with potential negative effects on others, such as medical patients or co-workers in an industrial setting. And finally, just in the sense of fairness, citizens are entitled to the quiet enjoyment of their property. That will be stolen from them. Will citizens feel safe to let their children roam in the neighborhood in the past? Will they allow young children out to play, even in enclosed areas? They don't know if it's defended. Will people in the community want to allow their friends to come for sleepover to go to kids that are living in that close proximity or will they be scared? Is it clear that the citizens of Milton and surrounding area will feel the need to remain hypervigilant at all times? What effect will this stress have on their general health and quality of life? So these are just some of the issues that are likely to be foremost in people's lives. And I, for one, sincerely hope that the council will draw on those considerations and disallow the operation of Harvest House in the local area. It is just a totally inappropriate place with totally, no security.
Thanksgiving Day. I believe there will be serious issues in our community if this facility is allowed to locate in our community. Our community does not have the capability to deal with these issues, period. And Harvard House has certainly shown that they're not going to deal with these issues because they have no regard for any of the community concerns. None. Actions are proof of character. I have not heard or seen during the last 8 months Harvard House membership show any respect for our community. It's like we do not care what you do or what you say. This facility is going there. I believe they think the well-being of our community is not their concern. And one last thing, and I want you to imagine this in your mind. We're talking about a community down there where this is going, and I'm going to describe it to you. And I'm not talking these houses are half a mile away or a long way. This community is going here. The house above, babysit their grandchildren. The house above that, they have 4 children. The house across there has children. The house across there has children. The house there babysits for her nephew's children. The house below, and you could throw a rock from here to there and hit the window, has children. And the house below that, the next house, has children. And then if you want to go down, a little further, children and children. That's what's there. That's what's there. And you can imagine the stress, the anxiety, and they're feeling it now, and I've seen it. I've seen the tears, and I know what anxiety is. And they're feeling it now, and they're scared to death. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I've got a package, and I hope the information that we have given is here. Those letters are from, and those are from the community residents that live around that. And I thank you for allowing me.
What I choose to give me to the copy. Oh, okay.
I'd like
Thank
to
you
say
very
one
much.
more thing, Joey. It got to the point, we couldn't even allow Tim Hortons cops to, I mean, you can't allow people to build coffee in jail. There's something wrong. They're putting drugs in the coffee and bringing it in. So we had to discontinue that. We couldn't take people out to the subway because they were making calls out and having drugs hid on top of the pop machine or in the flower pot or. Well, how are you gonna police that in Norton? 1 staff, 4 people, 2 staff, 8 people, whatever. How are you gonna do it? You can't. That's the point I wanna get across. For the safety of the people in there and the whole community.
So, you've heard, a group of concerned residents from the Millerton area, Derby, Upper and Lower. They have made some, paper copies of things that they would like council to look at. Thank you for your presentation. In full transparency, Harvest House is also asked to speak to the council, and they will be on the agenda, probably before too long. I believe the, request came in today, Dana? So there was an official request come in today from Harvest House, and you've got to, you've got to excuse my ignorance about it, because I'm saying Harvest House and thinking that Harvest House is the residential place in the community, but, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it is the name of the association, that is looking to put that there. So, thank you.
one more thing, one more, I said,
One more for you, Gary, and then there's one gentleman wants to speak.
these people that are representing everything, they don't live in that community. One guy lives in Fredericton, right? And he sends letters out to all you people. Well, you know, when he's living in the glass house in Fredericton he's living in, and the other one that's living down in Napan, that's pushing it, and she's over in Fredericton eating taxpayers' money, you know? Okay.
Be nice, Gary.
Anyway, we're the ones that are gonna be left holding the bag when the proverbial, you know what, hits the fan. And they say, well, we didn't know, you know, there's nothing we can do about it, and they walk away. So we're gonna be left holding the bag.
We have heard you, and,
Thank you.
you've had a well-organized, presentation. So, these people, we know who they were that spoke. We've got Gary, we've got Dr. McKenzie, and we got Miss Ann Creamer. There's one gentleman, you would like to speak, it's not, just one second, please. It's not really precedent, but if you only would like to speak for a minute or so, please stand up and tell us who you are.
All right, my name is, Chris Clark. I own the property with my wife, smack dab next door to this proposed facility. I spent 20 years in law enforcement. I served my country for 20 years in the military. I'm pretty sure that I have earned the right to live in peace. My wife and I have put a significant amount of money and sweat equity into our property, as have each of our neighbors. Ann spoke to the number of children who were in close proximity to this proposed facility. Within a 500-meter radius, there's 16 children under the age of 13. 2 of them are special needs. 1 of them is nonverbal. And the community is a mix of young parents, young families, and older retired people. Of the older retired people, we have people with serious mobility issues. 2 of them have significant physical impairment that prevent them from moving within their own home. It behooves me to try and wedge a round peg into a square hole into a community where all of these property owners have moved there. And one family who has moved there from Ukraine, they purchased their house there because it was peaceful and it was a family-oriented community. This facility is not conducive with a family-oriented community. And I will do everything in my power to prevent it from existing in our community. They tried to put it into the Miramichi Senior Citizens Home in Chatham. It got shut down. They tried to put it in Napa. It got shut down. Right here in the village of Blackville, they tried to put a similar facility years ago. What happened there? It didn't go. I want the same fever put into our opposition as was put into that project and to what was put into the proposals that were given in the city, where the myriad of services exist for these people who need help. That's all I have to say, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. You're welcome to stay as long as the other folks are welcome to stay. However, our next session, we're moving into a closed, in-camera session. we're moving into a closed in-camera session, regarding, legal, topics, and, yeah, after that, we're gonna adjourn. So, folks, welcome to our first in-camera session. We need a motion to move to in-camera. Moved by Tyson, seconded by Justin, that we move to in-camera. On Friday, we need a motion to move back into regular session.
I'll move.
Moved by Matt, seconded by Paula. Would we like to have any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion passed. Now, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
The motion is by Paula, seconded by Carolyn. Would any of you like to have a little discussion on that?
No,
We're good. You
yeah, I'm
sure? Okay. All those in favor? Let's make sure that we do this by procedural management, people. All those in favor, put your hands up.
Aye.
Very much. Very. I'm against it. I don't want to adjourn. Motion to adjourn accepted,